Good evening. Welcome to the annual Baltimore City Board of Investment Taxpayers Night. Taxpayers Night provides the public an opportunity to comment on the preliminary budget for fiscal 2017 that was recommended to the Board of Investment by the Department of Finance on March the 30th, 2016. As you may have seen coming in, the Budget Office is hosting this annual budget pop-up in the lobby. Representatives from the city's result teams are here to represent and discuss the investment proposed in each of the mayor's 7 priority outcomes. I encourage you to stop by and learn more about the fiscal 2017 budget. At this time, I would like to introduce the members of the Board of Estimates. Starting on my left, Mayor Stephanie Rollins-Blake, and to her left is David Ralph. To my right is Comptroller Joan Pratt. To her right is Ruby Chow, and to his right is Andy Klein. Is there any other elected officials in here? Where's Mary Pat?
I'm here.
Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark is here. Any more elected officials here that I have not seen? Bill Henry. If you all can come to the front so I can recognize you if you're here. Okay. The preliminary fiscal year 2017 operating budget has been recommended at $2.644 billion. This is an increase of $90.8 million or 4% above the fiscal year 2016 adopted budget. The capital plan is recommended at $524.5 million, which is $148.4 million, or 22% lower than fiscal 2016. The members of the Board of Estimates are very interested in listening to your views and observations concerning this budget. This is our opportunity as the board to hear from you, the Baltimore City residents. This is your opportunity as city residents to share your thoughts regarding spending, budget priorities, and other fiscal concerns. Since we are here to listen, we do not intend to enter into dialogue with you as you speak, but may ask you to clarify a point. Anyone wishing to address the board must sign up to do so. Sign-up sheets are located at the table at the entrance to the auditorium. Speakers will be heard in the order in which they have signed up. Each time I announce the name of the next speaker, I will identify the next person so you can be prepared to come up to the microphone. We ask that you limit your remarks to 2 minutes so that everyone can have an opportunity to speak. Your time cannot be yielded to another speaker. Time will be kept by the Budget Director, Mr. Klein. He's here at the front of the room. Raise your hand, Mr. Klein. Mr. Klein would also alert you when you are out of time by holding up a red paddle. If you have a handout or a copy of your remarks in writing, please give them to Mr. Huber from our office, who is sitting in the front row at your right. He will distribute them to the board members. And finally, please turn off all cell phones and pagers. Now let's begin with the first speaker, who is Frank Pantinelli of BEC and ACLU. Please come forward. Oh, you'll get a 30-second warning when he turns it to yellow.
Great. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Frank Pantinelli. I'm the co-chair of the Baltimore Education Coalition and a senior education advocate for the ACLU of Maryland's Education Reform Project. BEC represents nearly 24 organizations across the city. Many of us are here tonight, including the ACLU, Strong City, Maryland Out of School Time, Higher Achievement Elevate, League of Women Voters, and we're teamed up with other organizations, Communities United, CASA, Promise Heights. If you're with us to hear, I just want you to wave. Thank you. So after the most tumultuous year in recent memory, we're here tonight to voice our strong opposition to the mayor's proposed budget, which number 1, cuts $4.2 million for after-school and community school programs, and number 2, reduces support for city schools in the amount of $2.8 million. I'm going to focus on the $2.8 million to city schools. At the beginning of the session in Annapolis, city schools was looking at a loss of $25 million in the governor's proposed budget due to enrollment loss and the city's growth and wealth. BEC worked hard with our city legislators at the state level, notably Delegate McIntosh and Senator McFadden, to get the $25 million restored. Governor Hogan responded by giving the city school system a $12.7 million in a supplemental budget, and the legislature required Baltimore City to give an additional $10 million over last year's contribution to city schools. But what we're seeing in the mayor's proposed budget is an additional $10.4 million under maintenance of effort and a reduction of $2.8 million for certain school employee benefits, a cost that the city has traditionally covered. Cutting the 2.8 means that there's not a net gain of 10 million for the schools, which is not in line with what the legislature intended. The city has grown in wealth, and it's not just paper wealth from TIFs and city subsidized development. It's real wealth growth in the form of more revenue from higher income taxes and an increase in property assessments. It's only fair that the city share this wealth with the students of Baltimore City. 2.8 million is roughly equivalent to 32 teachers or many more support staff in schools. Okay, I'll finish up. So we would like to see more effort from from the city, and we urge you to restore the 2.8 million. Thank you.
Thank you. Erica Alston, followed by Taisha Harrell. Is Erica here?
She's not here yet.
Okay, we'll come back to her. Taisha Harrell, followed by, I guess this is Taisha Mosley. I hope I pronounced her name right.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm a parent of 5 kids. I have 3 at William Penn Hughes Elementary. And I believe that, excuse me, I'm just a little nervous. It's hard for a single parent to try to do everything by themselves. And the after-school program really helps me out with doing things with my kids, and taking away from my kids is not helping them have a better future. And for us to have a better Baltimore is to have for our kids to have a better future. And why shut our kids down when everybody say they want the best for our kids? And I really wish y'all restored the 2.4 million. Thank you.
The mayor decision is really wrong from taking all this money from Baltimore City Schools and from after school programs. Mentoring, I attend mentoring and I really like it. Although it's for girls, I learned a lot that we did in the past and now. And it would really hurt me if it's taken away. Thank you.
Rochelle Barksdale, followed by Sharika Bolden.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am a parent volunteer from the historic Samuel Coolidge Taylor and the Dew Hill Duty Center, which we offer food banks, daily fruit for the students, backpack for the students for the weekend, parents' breakfast, GED, Bell after school program. Okay, what I would like is for the 4.2 million to be reinstated. My son is in an after-school program and he loves it, and so does a lot of other kids. Without that, they'd be in the street doing nothing or doing something violent. Please reinstate the 4.2 million.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're at a critical point in our city's journey. Our success is intricately tied to our ability to collaborate with each other, neighbor to neighbor, community to community, organization to organization, and in our willingness to invest in our youth. The community schools model is a clear, simple, effective strategy that I see working every day. My name is Sharika Bolden. I'm a Baltimore City parent. I'm a member of the Baltimore Education Coalition, and I'm a community schools coordinator with Strong City Baltimore. I have the pleasure of seeing the impact of the model working out in students. I see the impact of matching a business that's willing to donate its vision services with a school that has students that need those services. I see how it can turn the life around. I think of a young boy that I work with in elementary school who, once he was able to get glasses, his whole academic path turned around. Simple strategies, and it just needs a clear investment. So I ask for your investment. Thank you.
Thank you. Fayin Hardy, Ellie Mitchell. Who's it? Oh, Erica is here? Okay, we'll get her after. Erica, where are you? Okay.
Sorry I'm late. I travel with a big bunch. We are here to plea for funding. Our story is we answered a need in the community. Our story is also that we didn't wait for the perfect building. We didn't wait for the perfect grant or the perfect foundation. We saw a need and we transformed a vacant laundromat to a space where today, 10 months later, on donations only, up to 100 kids a day, from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and noon to 6 p.m. on Saturdays. It's where they go to do their homework. It's where they go to be safe from the streets of Sandtown, Winchester, where there's an open-air drug market on our playground, where I have to crouch in between cars and take pictures and text to the police commissioner daily. And because of our relationship, police officers come up, and our kids get to play on the playground. It is where they come to do their homework in a computer lab. It's where they come to play and paint pictures and be a kid. Most importantly, it's where they come to be safe. 90% of our children live in Gilmore Homes projects. The Freddie Gray ordeal wasn't something they watched on TV. It was what they watched sitting on their steps. We have no funding. We missed the opportunity for the initial pot of money that was given when the mayor saw fit to give an additional $4.2 million. We missed it. We were eagerly awaiting the opportunity to apply for funding. We need funding. They need funding. It's a safe place to be where it's needed most. Thank you.
Fayin Hardy and Ellie Mitchell.
I'm sorry, I was just asking, where the kids' safe zone? I didn't say that, thank you.
That is hard to follow. My name is Stan Hardy. I am a parent from Gilmore Elementary Middle School. Guilford is a community school, partners with Strong City Baltimore. Every day I go to this school, I've been here, my kids have been going to Guilford for 2 years. Every day I go to this school, I've never seen a child that didn't deserve more. These children, the civil unrest that happened last year, it was not something that just happens. It happens all the time in our city. And these children see these traumas all the time. They suffer these traumas all the time. The children of Baltimore City suffer more trauma in their childhood than most people suffer in their entire life. From them taking away their brothers, uncles, cousins, sisters, whatever, whether it be voluntary or involuntarily. Those losses cause trauma to these children. They deserve more. It's not something that we should be sitting here discussing. They deserve it. They deserve a chance. They deserve someone. These community programs help them deal with these traumas. We live in a society where we tell everybody to just get over it. It doesn't happen like that. What ends up happening is these children's trauma manifests into other behaviors. These same kids that we are trying to save are the future doctors, the future lawyers, future mayors. They are our future. We have to invest in them. This 4.2 million is not something that we should even be talking about taking away. If anything, we should be talking about adding to it. These children deserve this. It's not something that we have to talk about. They suffer trauma on every day. We see these people every day, and for us, it's normal to see somebody nodding out on the corner. For us, it's normal to hear gunshots throughout the day or the night, to see fights on the corner. But it's not normal, and they shouldn't have to deal with it. These community programs help them deal with these traumas. All I ask is that you take some time to consider not only giving back the 4.2, but maybe giving a little bit more.
Good evening. Thank you to the Board of Estimates for taking some time to listen to us tonight. I'm Ellie Mitchell. I'm the director of the Maryland Out of School Time Network. And for the last 12 years, I've been working on building quality after-school systems here in Baltimore City and around the state. And we have been sitting for nearly a decade at basically the same funding level around after school. And at first they said to us, well, prove to us this isn't just daycare. Do something different. So we're adding STEM to programs. We're training and doing professional development with youth development folks. And then folks say to us, well, show us this is making a difference, that this is having impact on us. And now we have studies from the Baltimore Education Resource Consortium and other folks that say reduces chronic absence, changes school climate. So we have the evidence. We have built a quality system. We are improving programs, making them more dynamic, and yet we sit at the same place we did a decade ago. A decade. The cost per youth for after-school programs has not changed. And the program providers who are doing that work for the last 10 years have found a way to make those dimes stretch and to do more with them and to reach more students and to do all they can and to leverage federal dollars, state dollars, and private dollars to the best that they can. But there comes a point at which we have to invest in this system, grow it citywide, reach as many kids as we can to really have the impact. So this 4.2 should be the starting point, as we said earlier, of the growth that we need to have that kind of quality system here in Baltimore City. Thank you.
Bree Romani and Tanya Saunders. Let me recognize Councilman Welch, who have joined us, and who else? And Councilman Jim Kraft. Wait, okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. In 2019, the mayor and council made the decision to remove Experience Corps, Teach for America, and Cooperative Extension as competitive line items from the mayor's budget. Instead, as you know, those funds are set aside for these programs, were sent to the Family League, where our organizations like ours were supposed to be able to compete for funds based on outcomes in alignment with the city and Family League programming. And in fact, since over 100 of our volunteers and I testified in 2013, Experience Corps has become even more aligned with the city and the Family League priorities. We now provide services in pre-K classrooms and after school. In fact, the students participating in our after-school programs with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra's ORCIDS program made over 130% of progress towards grade-level reading in the first 2 years of that program, the results of which were presented at last year's Gerontological Society of America meeting. As we stated in 2013, Experience Corps was and remains very supportive of the Maryland Out of School Time Network and the Family League and actively supports their efforts to restore $4.2 million to support after-school and community school programming that our children so badly need. You know, a year after last year's unrest, that need remains, and after decades of decline and lack of investment, that need will remain not just this year, but for several years to come, and I hope that you will continue to increase the amount of investment and restore this money. That said, while the accounting mechanism by which we have received our money has supposedly changed, we're in the same position that we were in 2013. I mean, even with the Family League as the conduit to our funds, now that they have been cut out of your budget, Madam Mayor, we are still back here advocating for their restoration at the source, and that is in your office. At this point, I would like to be very clear that our ask to the board has changed from 3 years ago. At that time, we were asking for money to be restored for Experience Corps. And we agreed and supported the decision to allocate those funds for a competitive process in the Family League. You know, as I mentioned, Experience Corps has continued to grow and expand our services to fill the changing needs of our most vulnerable children, while at the same time continuing to do so with the same quality of peer review and objective results that we've had and has been our hallmark since '99. We're not asking for a handout. We're asking for the chance to compete and make a positive difference in the lives of our children. And as a result, we're asking you to restore the $450,000 for those programs to your FY17 budget. Thank you very much.
After Ms. Tanya Saunders, Jarrell Bratcher, followed by Bob Siddell.
Thank you so much, Mayor Rawlings Blake, President Young, City Council members present, and elected and appointed officials, for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the University of Maryland Extension, Baltimore City. I am Dr. Tanya Sanders, President of Baltimore City Extension Advisory Board, and I am here tonight to really implore you to fully fund University of Maryland Extension, Baltimore City. Extension currently serves over 16,000 residents at 184 sites throughout Baltimore City through critical programs such as Extension Financial Education Program that teaches low and moderate income youth and adults the basics of budgeting and saving, along with rental eviction prevention education. It reaches out to ex-offenders and teaches them how to become entrepreneurs. This is so critical because we know that about 10,000 formerly incarcerated people return to Baltimore City each year. We know how difficult it is to get a job once you have a record. We at Extension recognize this barrier to successful reintegration into society. Our financial education program works with ex-offenders so they can secure the one thing that can almost guarantee that they won't be part of the 40% returning to prison in 3 years. That is a job through entrepreneurship. This is a program that is vital to Baltimore City and should be expanded, not cut. This is just one of the programs that Extension has that is very impactful to Baltimore City. Please consider fully funding Extension for FY17 and beyond because Extension's programs are desperately needed in Baltimore City. Thank you so much.
Jarrell Bratcher. Everyone talked about the stats and the figures here. You know it's important. I mean, as elected officials, we serve the communities, and a negative decision such as this would negatively impact job security for families. It would mean less opportunities for children to have a safe and secure facilities after school to learn and play. Surely we can find another way to close the budget gap. Since the riots and the unrest, we've seen the need for more safe zones and programs like it. Taking away funding from school-age child care centers, after-school programs, community schools, which we need to support more of. Oh, I thought I would get some claps. We need to fund community schools. The community school model is an approach at the core and essence of what we seek to achieve in exercising the village and the whole child approach. We achieve increased opportunity for our youth, but we also need to provide our families with a peace of mind and job security for the working parents and families. Just this time last year, I was laid off, and now I found a job. Now you're going to make a cut, or consider making a cut to something that is impacting me having the job that I'm currently in, and so I'll be back at the same thing again along with the other folks. So we need to reconsider this. This is not something you need to think about tomorrow or next week. Tonight you should already have it made up in your mind that I'm going to support it now and I'm going to support it in the years before, because just to support it 1 year isn't enough. We've got to support it for a number of years to sustain it.
Following Bob will be former delegate Kenneth Montague, and then Stephanie Murdoch.
Good evening. I'm Bob Seidel, a Baltimore City native, resident, and former public school teacher. For the last 15 years, my professional work has focused at the national and local levels on community schools and out-of-school time opportunities for students living in poverty. Young people in our city, like others around the country, have inherited the legacy of centuries of institutional racism. In particular, despite the victories of the civil rights movement, over the last 60 years, public policies and private business decisions have combined to aggravate de facto discrimination in public education, housing, law enforcement, employment opportunities, and other crucial areas. The results have included high infant mortality, childhood hunger, inadequate health care, broken families, and more. Last year's uprising spoke truth to power, and the truth today is that it is going to take an ongoing, massive effort to destroy the legacy of historic racism. Baltimore faces fiscal challenges, to be sure. They are part of that legacy. But to cut $4.2 million from the budget for community schools and out-of-school time programs would be a step in the wrong direction and a message of despair to our young people. Please reverse that cut and invest more in the future of our city, our young people. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Murdoch. Thank you for the opportunity to speak here today, Madam Mayor and distinguished members of the board, and thank you for holding my skateboard for me. I'm a citizen of Baltimore, and full disclosure, I work for the city of Baltimore, but I'm here tonight as an advocate for the 30,000 plus skateboarding youth in the city of Baltimore. And since last Taxpayers Night, I'm now a homeowner, so I'm happy. I mean, who settles on a house when there's unrest? But you know, that's my decision. So anyway, I'm here to say thank you. This is the largest recreation and parks budget I've seen since I've started advocating for public parks. And this is a budget that's been stagnant for more than 2 decades. So thank you for increasing that funding. That is where the money needs to go. Recreation and parks saves lives. It's for young people. And this agency serves these kids during after school time and on weekends. Just looking back, I wanted to recall about a year ago when the unrest was occurring, everyone was kind of hiding in their houses wondering what to do. I went down to the Roosevelt Recreation Center for a community meeting, kind of begrudgingly, and the rec center was locked, but I went behind the rec center and I saw about 20 youth skateboarders, and this was about 2 miles away from North Avenue, and these young people looked exactly like the young people in the streets, but the only difference is that these young people have recreation in their lives. So that is the importance of recreation and parks. Finally, I just want to add that I'm on my 7th director, soon to be 8th, of recreation and parks in 10 years. I've learned if I can't win them over, I can usually outlast them. And part of this cycle that we seem to have is we get a director from out of town, it takes him a year to learn the city, and then he figures out that he has no money to do anything and he starts writing his resume. We need a Leslie Knope for this city and for our recreation and parks, and let me know where to submit my resume.
Mayor Rawlings and President Young. My name is Kenneth Montague, and I am president of the Baltimore City Master Gardeners program, an arm of the University of Maryland Extension. I'm here in support of our request to continue our funding so that we can continue the work that we have been doing for many years. As you may know, Master Gardeners actually operate throughout the city, working to improve parks, working to help individuals develop community gardens, and also to make sure that they do this in an environmentally safe and sensitive way. Last year, as a volunteer organization, Master Gardeners contributed over nearly 6,000 hours of volunteer time. When I became president, I really wanted to pivot this organization and to begin to focus more on young people and schools, to help seniors, and to extend the reach of the program so it was more accessible throughout the city. Even as we speak today, that extension has occurred since we are implementing an Earth Month program in conjunction with the Baltimore City Library, the Enoch Pratt Library, at 8 libraries throughout the city. But there was something that happened in April that really caused us to refocus. And that was the disturbance that occurred. What we did is our board made a strong statement that we were interested in making a difference in terms of food availability throughout the city. And so now all of our efforts are generally refocused in that area, going into neighborhoods and food deserts like Cherry Hill, Park Heights at Lucille Avenue, and places where there's a tremendous need but not many resources. We'll continue to do that, and we'll do it with vigor as long as you continue to support our program. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark, followed by Sharon Jones and Heather Alick. Alick.
Mr. President, members of the Board of Estimates, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here this evening. I'm going to begin by talking about this badge and what it means, and it says no child care equals no jobs. And I would ask the school-age child care centers, people from Northwood Elementary Middle and from Waverly Elementary Middle to please stand, including your children. There are 60 children in these two centers, and their total fiscal note for the year is under $160,000. These are daycare centers open from 6 in the morning till 6 at night on weekdays during school and all summer long. When teachers have a day off, these centers are open because these centers are intended not just to make our children safe and to make sure they get all their meals right, but so that their families can work. In Baltimore City, we talk about jobs. We need jobs, good jobs, living wage jobs with benefits. We need jobs to save our city for ourselves and the future. How do you have a job if you are in work worrying about whether your kids are running loose and the neighbors are saying, well, sure, she's got a job, but who's watching after those crazy kids? You know what it's like out there and how people talk. And so these centers protect the children and let the parents and families and grandmothers and uncles work with peace of mind. So I hope that you will restore this minimal amount of money because tuition is paid, vouchers are submitted, and this is what's left to fill the gaps. Also, I am here very strongly to support the $4.2 million being restored. We have never moved backwards on the amount of money for after-school, community school, out-of-school programs. We cannot begin now in this year of crisis. It just doesn't make sense. I also want to say I'm here for, and have been here for years because every year it happens, the Experience Corps budget has been cut again, $170,000. Oops, I'm out of time. But they shouldn't be. And the University of Maryland 4-H program, which serves the Waverly School-Age Child Care Center and many hundreds and hundreds of children throughout this city, needs to be back in that budget. We are revolving doors with some of the best programs for our children. Thank you.
Good evening.
I'm here to speak from my own personal experience and from my heart. Frank and Ellie gave stats and they're in the trenches. But 25 years ago, I would say I was in a Baltimore County school and they had, let's say, gym. And we had a whole gymnastics, balance beam, rings, everything. When we moved back into the city, gym consisted of a jump rope and basketball. That was 25 years ago. And so now we fast forward to 1997, and it was so easy for the city to relinquish their responsibility of city schools. And I blame my parents' generation for dropping the ball, but my generation is not dropping the ball. So what I say to you is when I see the Grand Prix, when I see the second time we are doing speed cameras, when I see the Hilton Convention Center, all of these are funds that could have gone to the school system. The unrest that happened last year is a result of the decisions you guys made. When the mayor got in the office, she closed all of the rec centers because they were bad. Yes, they are, but so are our schools. You can't close those also. And the thing is that the day after the unrest, all the rec centers were open. How did everybody get background checks? Where do we find all those people to staff them the day after the unrest? The consequences of you guys' actions will continue for years to come. And if you don't do something proactive for your city, not reactive, proactive for your city, it's going to get extremely worse. Because what the kids that are younger than me showed us is that they are the X factor. We don't know what they're going to do. And what you don't want is complete unrest, because this is sad. This is, I don't even understand how you sleep at night. What I'm saying is 25 years ago, I went from a complete gymnastics education to jump rope and basketball 25 years ago. I can't even imagine what these kids are dealing with now. My son's father and I put our kid in private school because when I went to my hood education, I was in an honor society, people. I had to go and struggle for that biochem degree because you guys undereducate the whole city. I was an honor society graduate and I had to struggle for that. And I can't even imagine what these kids are dealing with 20 years later. This is sad.
Sharon Jones, followed by Heather. I was Sharon Jones. Okay, I'm sorry, Sharon. Heather Ali, Naya Tara Bazu, and Ivy Branch, followed by Melanie Watkins.
Good evening, members of the Board of Estimates. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Heather Ali, and I represent Waverly School-Age Child Care Center. Waverly School-Age Child Care Center offers parents safe, flexible, and affordable child care. The center also offers enrichment programs and field trips for children. This center is one of 2 fully comprehensive child care centers that is still operating in Baltimore City Public Schools. Having this valuable resource allows parents the ability to work without having to worry over child care. We ask that this successful program that was started in 1981 be allowed to continue to thrive for another 40 years and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you. Naya Tara.
Hi, I'm Nayantara Basisen, and I am here because the $4.2 billion that we are talking about today affects me personally on many levels. Not only am I a parent, and my older daughter attends the Waverly Child Care Center, but I'm also a public school teacher in Baltimore City. This is my 10th year in the system. So this cut in funding not only affects my own children, but also the 100-some children that I teach every day who are pretty much like my children because they're entrusted to my care. And I would just say that without affordable health care, child care, there would be no way that I could really give my students the care and the extra help after school and all the other things that being a teacher involves. So I would urge you to restore the money to the school system and to all the aftercare programs so that parents, teachers, and us as a community could really come together and support our youth and give them the care that they need in order to thrive and be successful in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Melanie Watkins and Tani Barksdale.
Good evening. My name is Melanie Watkins, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I am a parent of 2 Baltimore City Public School children, and I apologize for this. But not only every day do I advocate for the children of our city because I'm an employee of the city, but I advocate for my own children and need to do that each and every day. My children attend the Northwood School Age Child Care Center. My daughter is currently, thank you, a 3rd grader and has been attending that program since kindergarten. I currently have a pre-K student who does the same. The center, as a full-time employee, my husband and I need a place that's safe, nurturing for our children to go to each and every day. And I want to provide the same care that I provide for the students here of Baltimore City Schools. The programs help out working families. Again, they're safe and structured. The staff there, both at Northwood and Waverly, are certified, nurturing, and great role models for our children. They provide them with nutritional food and meals every day, enrichment activities. They're also open when schools are closed. So when schools are closed, I have to work. So I need a place for my children to go. They're also open on breaks such as spring break, winter break, as well as the summer. I currently am a full-time employee, 12 months, with the school system. And so these centers, in addition to other after-school programs for our youth, are really essential and critical to ensuring that all children in Baltimore City schools have safe places to be, structured places to be, and be engaged in activities that will help them become productive adults when they get older. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Barksdale, is she here? Okay. Miss Green, Chris Green, followed by Jessica Childress and Emmanuel Leach.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for allowing us to speak this evening. My name is Christy Green. I'm the Executive Director of St. Francis Neighborhood Center in Reservoir Hill, which has been there since 1963. I moved here from Ohio 6.5 years ago with a corporate job and in and out of nonprofit and corporate world. And I moved here and bought a house immediately. I loved Baltimore City. It's a great city. And one of the things that happened when I was here in the first couple years is this nonprofit position opened up. And St. Francis Neighborhood Center. So I've been there now 3.5 years. We provide we're nonprofit, community education-based programming to end generational poverty. We have out-of-school time and after-school summer programming. And I just want to say how important it is, the change I've seen in the kids. And for the first time last year, we got Family League funding, which was city funding. And it made such a huge difference, and I'd hate to see that be gone. I'd like to see it grow. We've been able to see more kids, academic after school, everything we do, art, character building, it's amazing. We have our kids here with us, some of them, 4 of them here tonight. Little Lorena comes in every day, sits down and wants to work on her homework immediately and get it done before she gets home that night. Every child also gets dinner and snacks before they go home. We have Kenyon, and he has a sister, Kennedy, and they donated everything out of their piggy bank to save after-school programming, 91 cents and pennies, which was awesome. We have Emmanuel, who just testified for the State House for the first time for our first ever bond bill to do capital improvements on the center, because we're growing and we always have a wait list of at least 20 or more kids. And we have Asia, who actually represents the state of Maryland, Student Voices for out-of-school time. She was chosen by Maryland State Department of Education. So we are so proud of our kids and staff, and we don't do what we do because we're going to be millionaires. Cutting this is you're cutting your most passionate employees for the kids and those who care the most about what happens with the kids in the city.
My name is Jessica Childress. I'm the program manager for St. Francis Neighborhood Center. You've already heard from Christy how important this funding is for all programs in Baltimore and definitely ours as well. We have our kids with us here today. I want to talk about one of our youth in particular. His name is Robert Ross. He's not here today, but Robert has been at the program since he was in kindergarten. He is now in 9th grade. And when Robert started in kindergarten, even before I was at the center, he was someone that needed the after-school help. He needed help with his homework. He needed help with his academics. He needed a place to go after school. His mother couldn't be with him at after school. So Robert actually started with an IEP when he was young, and has since recently, in the past 2 years, does not have an IEP any longer. And Robert, now in the 9th grade, makes A's and B's. He attends Frederick Douglass High School. He's an excellent student. He wants to be an auto mechanic when he grows up. Part of what we do at the program is we do home visits with our youth and parents. And that's our time when we set goals with our students. So Robert's goal is to be an auto mechanic. He wants to go to college. All of these things that he wants to do. And I'll tell you that Kenyon here, this young man sitting here, he's been at the program since he was in kindergarten. Kenyon is a future Robert. If he could stay in the program until high school, I'm sure that he can do amazing things. And Kenyon's actually told me that he's wanted to be the president of the United States one day. So this funding is extremely important to our youth. These kids sitting right here in front of you. And it matters so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Emmanuel Leach, followed by Mrs. Warquette Blue and LaTorsha Bryant.
Hello, everybody. My name is Emmanuel Leach. I'm part of the St. Francis Neighborhood Center. And let me start off saying, wow, that's a lot of money that you're cutting out for the budget. I have been at St. Francis for 2 years now. It doesn't seem a lot, but it really helps me. I have now had the courage to stand here in front of people of all standards, high class, low class. I learned a lot there. I learned a lot at St. Francis. I have picked up certain skills, very certain skills. Because when I first came there, I was completely nervous. I couldn't even stand up and talk in front of people. I was the shy person of every school or something. And I used to get bullied at school, and when I came to St. Francis, it became a nice safe haven for me. And that's really sad that you're going to subtract all money from every center, because every kid needs a future, and future equals help. So that's why I'm up here today to tell y'all, because it's not good. You shouldn't go back, because every incident happens for a reason, and every person is made on this earth for a specific goal. And when me speaking up here right now is a goal that I have for the future, because I want to be an editor, an animator, and a speaker one day. And they helped me. My friend Asia, Miss Jessica, Miss Tara, and we all got little nicknames for each other, and it's very fun. And I got a lot of friends there. So thank you for your time, and I hope you really, 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 really consider this. And I want y'all to add more to the budget. I don't want y'all to subtract, and I want y'all to give back to it, but I need y'all to add more to it so we can have more in our program, please. Thank you.
Ms. Blue. Followed by Ms. LaTorsha Bryant.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and the citizens of Baltimore City. I am a certified master gardener, have been so for 25 years plus. I am still, along with my husband, attending training courses with them. They provide affordable training for the Master Gardeners, for the youth program, for just, I can't even explain to you. I'm a little off script. I wanted to read it, but I think I'll just go. What it means to me is they have courses that are offered other places. I can't afford it. I'm retired. Well, we have a small business, but it's affordable for me to go to these classes. It's $50 versus $250, which if both of us to attend would be $500. So it's very important. It's very important for the citizens, for the adults, for the youth. They have youth programs, they do training, and it's very, very important. And if I'm still going to them after 25 years, that should tell you something. That should tell you how important it is, how passionate they are. They have helped us, they have helped others, and my passion and my husband's passion is to pass it on, to teach the youth. They're our future environmentalists, agriculturalists, and conservationists. You talk about the Bay, the Chesapeake Bay. If you don't teach us how important it is to be caretakers of gardens that all throughout the cities, of the earth, of the environment, it will not happen. You think it's terrible now, you think our lead problem is terrible. It will be worse because there is no education available for the adults or for the youth. I say, do not defund this vital program that has been going on since 1942. So please, please fund this program. Thank you.
Good evening, board. My name is Latasha Bryant, and as you can probably see from my sign and my colors and my team behind me, that we are here for Waverly School-Age Child Care Center, and we are here for Northwood School-Age Child Center. I am here to speak as a concerned parent and citizen, concerned that the cuts of the budget and the impact that it will have on our centers. As a dedicated employee, a volunteer in my own community, a wife, mother too, I heavily rely on excellent childcare to meet the demands of the changing workforce. Waverly provides enriched programs with 4-H, homework assistance, meals, and many other programs to make our children well-rounded. It has provided options for many of the parents that are here and many of the parents that could not make it out tonight to have a safe, flexible, and affordable childcare. No one, and I mean no one, can be a successful working parent without having peace of mind of having excellent childcare. So we ask that you allow this program to continue to be successful in this community, in these two communities, and to thrive and allow parents to do their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Tamar Walsley, here, and Elizabeth Cooper and Kim Trueheart. In that order.
Hello, my name is Tamara Walski. I'm a University of Maryland Extension Baltimore City Office Master Gardener intern. But last May, I was a newly minted graduate from the University of Maryland College Park. I was a student in the biology and environmental science programs, and I worked in a few labs during my time there. And one of them was a lab of the University of Maryland Extension agent. And I knew after I graduated I wanted to continue my work with the Extension because I believe in the Extension's mission. It's a cooperative educational relationship between the USDA, land-grant universities, and to bring their work to the people. And the Extension in academia wasn't really that diverse, but one of the great things about this Extension office is that it is, and you can even see that just by the group that we've brought here today. The Master Gardener class, at the very least, grabbed people from all age groups, backgrounds, and neighborhoods. And the University of Maryland Extension programs serve people from all backgrounds, age groups, and neighborhoods, and even reaches out past gardening and agriculture. Please don't cut the funding, or please restore the funding.
Thank you.
Greetings, good evening. My name is Eliza Cooper, and I'm a volunteer with the University of Maryland Extension Program, their 4-H program. The University of Maryland Extension Baltimore City is an integral part of the city. To not fund it would be like cutting off a part of your body. The void that would be created by its absence as a part of the city structure would be crippling. University of Maryland, Baltimore City offers education to the community, but more than education, it offers the structure and supports needed for those they educate to give back to the neighborhoods and communities in meaningful ways. The giving that occurs because of this creates a cycle that just keeps on giving. It doesn't stop. And no matter where you go in the country, it will continue if you leave Baltimore even. Personally, I have been involved with the University of Maryland Extension Baltimore City for almost 10 years. Building leadership for both adults and youth has been an impressive part of what I have observed, from the Master Gardeners program to the 4-H program, and how they are woven into the communities through the after-school programs, through the community gardens, through workshops, and the 4-H Youth Expo, which showcases and rewards the talents and skills of all Baltimore City youth, to nutrition education for both adults and youth, as well as financial literacy, again, both for youth and adults. And it's really ironic that as Baltimore City seeks to grow their green efforts, the primary program that supports residents and organizations with research-based educational materials, that's the University of Maryland Extension, is at risk of closing due to a lack of funds from city funding. So the value for the money to the city is great because the city is only responsible for 25% of their budget. On another note, the University of Maryland Extension Baltimore City is a volunteer-based organization, is a support structure for those in neighborhoods who have skills or talents that they would like to share. Where else can you go is John Q. Public with an idea and be able to get the support you need to implement it. Right now, I'm working with the University of Maryland Extension with an elementary middle school, incorporating 4-H into the whole school, which is a major undertaking. There are 500 students who attend this school. My hope is that common sense will prevail and the University of Maryland Extension will continue to be funded, not only for the next fiscal year, but for the unforeseeable future. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Trueheart, followed by Connor Meek and Gretchen Legren.
Good evening. My name is Kim Trueheart, and this is the most offensive place I've been in a long time. I'm offended that you put a budget out that doesn't invest in our children and claim that you do outcome-based budgeting. You don't know what that means, because if you did, why are you keep continuing to invest in the police department that kills us, that locks us up, that beats up our children, right? But that's outcome-based budgeting. We're talking 334, is that the right number, last year? And outcome-based budgeting says you don't invest in crap that doesn't produce positive results or the desired outcome, but y'all do. Y'all sit here and tell us that it's acceptable to increase the police budget and it's acceptable to cut after-school programming. You are crazy, because we ain't standing for it. We know that what you put out is obnoxiously foul. We know that we want $10 million for after-school programming. We want 10. Don't be throwing no 4.2 up again this year, because I'm saying inflation took it up to 10. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, you need to go back to the drawing board. There's a chart back there that talks about you're going to invest $2 million in building restoration this year, right? But you won't invest $4 million in our children. Cut the $2 million that's going into a capital reserve. Then you cut the SWAT team. The SWAT team only used 9% of its budget last fiscal year. 9%, I don't know what the total was, but let's say it was $1 million. And they only used 9%. That's 900,000 right there. That's $2 million back there. You want more? There's a $26 million allocation for overtime up front. What organization does that? Puts money aside for overtime in advance. If they need overtime, then you put something on the side, right, for a contingency. Y'all better get this budget straight. It is obnoxiously foul, and you know it. Don't sit here and lie to us. Don't sit here and cheat our children. They deserve a whole lot better. And if you want to have a detailed conversation about what other areas of the budget can be cut, I'm standing here. Let's make some time to do that.
Connor Meek, followed by Gretchen Legren, and then Michael Andorski.
Comptroller and President Young, the number of people that have come out here to plead with you for funding are a testament to the influence that you have on our communities. But many of those communities have worked very hard to organize debates and forums, and you have left most of those invitations unanswered. That is not a democracy. We need you to come out and engage with your opponents so that we can make an informed decision. So out of respect for the citizens of Baltimore, I've come here to deliver 2 invitations in person. Comptroller Pratt, on Thursday, this Thursday, at the Downtown Cultural Arts Center at 401 North Howard Street, there is a debate scheduled, a forum between you and your opponent, Michael King. We really would appreciate your attendance. And President Young, you have missed so many forums and debates that the good people of the Baltimore Election Group on Facebook, more than 4,000 registered voters, have offered to schedule a debate.
Are you here to talk about the budget, Mr. Meek?
I'm talking about the taxpayers, Mr. Young, yes.
Mr. Meek, you need to talk about the budget. If not...
Why don't you come and debate with us and we'll talk about the budget?
Mr. Meek, if you're going to talk about the budget, we're here about the budget,
Where's Mr. Hooper? Here are the invitations.
You can deliver that to my person, and
I just delivered it to you, though, anytime.
Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you. The next person is Gretchen Legman and Michael Andorsi. I have too much work to do.
Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. My name is Gretchen LeGrand. I'm the Executive Director of Code in the Schools, a nonprofit focused on computer science education for Baltimore City youth. And I'm asking that you please restore the $4.2 million in funding for community schools and after-school programs. Because of last year's funding, we were able to significantly expand our after-school programs in underserved neighborhoods that desperately needed it. In our programs, kids from age 4 are learning to code. They're learning electrical engineering, robotics, and they're building games and applications in JavaScript, a professional software development language. Learning that computers and devices are not just for watching YouTube videos and playing games, but about creating new things, applications, and programs that will solve the problems they see in the world and in their communities is vital to level the playing field for our city youth. We do professional development all over the state, and I see firsthand what our private school and county school peers have access to, and it makes me so sad that our youth in Baltimore City who have so much potential will have yet another opportunity taken from them and will once again have their access denied. Our children should be the #1 budget priority because the return on that investment is so much higher than any tax breaks we give developers, and the opportunities we deny them will cost us so much more than $4.2 million in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Michael Andorski.
I don't envy your position. I mean, if I had it's tough enough for me to make my own budget out in my house. So I had to sit on a board such as yours and figure out where the money goes. It's very difficult, especially with so many worthy causes. But as a master gardener, we're asking for $170,000. That has to be one of the smallest items on your budget. And the only reason I can think that it wouldn't have been granted automatically is that you don't know what the master or whoever presented this to the board doesn't understand what the master gardeners do. So 2 years ago when I retired from pediatrics, I enrolled in Master Gardeners because I wanted to learn more about gardening and have a beautiful backyard. And if you don't want to give us the money so I can have a beautiful backyard, I can well understand that. But as I learned very quickly, Master Gardeners aren't about just beautiful backyards. They're about stewardship of the land. And living in the city, that land is Baltimore City. And there's some very politically sensitive issues that you and I and all of us are all very well aware of that Master Gardeners impact in very strong ways. We help the Bay. We're concerned about food deserts, people who aren't close enough to eat well and educated enough to eat well as well, and a disenfranchised inner city. You see Master Gardeners planting trees after the uprisings recently. You see Master Gardeners working in the prison system, teaching people how to be gardeners and becoming certified to do so after they leave prison so they can have reasonable jobs. You see gardens going up, vegetable gardens, with the help of Master Gardeners all over the city to help with food deserts. We need $170,000 this year and every year, and I know you will give it since you know what we do now. Thank you.
Thank you. Smallwood Student Association, are they here? I'm here. Okay, come on up. And followed by Archie Williams.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, I want to thank those of you that thought on the panel that thought it was important enough to stay and not leave. I say that first. Second of all, I am so happy that my daughter is grown and that I don't have to come here and beg for money for her education and for her well-being. We had an uprising. We know that money was poured into this city, and we would like to know when will you disclose the amount of money that was poured into this city. And if we could find that out, maybe, just maybe, these individuals for their different causes wouldn't be here begging for money if you really disclosed what we have. If you can spend $8.9 million for trash cans, which I am very offended by, then you could have kept a rec open. You could have opened a library. You could give money to these individuals that are here begging for their children. So I think we need to do something about priorities and what is important to the citizens and not what's important to the developers.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, and Mr. Williams is the last speaker.
Oh, wow. I got the honor to be the last.
You're the last one.
Well, good evening, council members. Basically, the people have spoken, and the people will hope that y'all make the right decision. Because if not, then the pour over can happen. Don't get it twisted. It will happen again. If you put the uneducated kids out here in these streets, they will get swallowed up. I advocate for the children, and I advocate for the homeless, and I advocate for those brothers on the corner that don't want to be on that corner. They want something better. They want something different. They want change. And if y'all prohibit this, let's get this understood. We have a scale. We have police brutality and enforcement being invested in, and education down here. That's a bad scale. That's a very bad scale. So just remember the people that put y'all in that position that y'all in. Y'all have a accountability to have to these people, to us as a city. We're not a city right now. We're not feeling charmed. We're feeling like y'all are taking advantage and doing what y'all want to do. That's how we feeling. That's how I got. I heard everybody. That's how I got. So I hope y'all make the right decisions with y'all.
Thank you.
I signed up way at the beginning, and I don't know if the page with my name on it got lost or something like that.
No, you can go ahead, but you're not on either one of these lists. You can go ahead.
Well,
No,
okay.
you're not.
Well, I guess somebody else's name got lost too because I was number 2 on the sheet.
Here's the sheet right here, Mr. Jaffe, but you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, I am Mr. Yaffe, as you guessed. I'm a board member of the Friends of the Pratt Library. The Friends were supporting several bills in the legislature this year, which will provide additional funding for libraries starting a year from July. And we're happy that they passed. Now, there's still a need for the coming year. I would very much personally like to see a significant increase in the Pratt Library's funding. And we've been hearing about a lot of other worthy programs that need funding that are in danger of being cut. Now, here I'm not speaking for the Friends anymore. Just on my own behalf, I'd like to offer a heretical thought. Raise the property tax. It seems like such an article of faith, such a immovable cornerstone of budgetary planning that we gotta get that property tax down. I think Baltimore City property taxes are not high. Baltimore City property tax rate is high. Baltimore City property assessments are low. You multiply the two of them out, you get something in the middle. In the Baltimore County, it's the opposite. The rate's low, the assessments are high, you multiply them out, you get something in the middle. I would like to challenge anybody who complains about their Baltimore City property tax to go find a house in the county that they consider to be comparable to theirs and see what that property tax is. It's probably about the same. So I think all the bellyaching about city property taxes are just prosperous people who don't want to pull their weight. We have protections in place already for low-income people that their property tax cannot go to the point they can't afford. If they need strengthening, strengthen them. And start from the needs of what really needs to be funded, what it takes to run a decent, adequate city that's ample for the people and their needs, and then see what that costs, and then get the revenue to fund it. You can produce more revenue if you want to. I've shown figures that cities of lower per capita income than Baltimore fund their libraries much more generously from local funds. They're poorer than we are, and they just want to do it, and they do it, and you can do it too.
Thank you. The next step for the budget process are as follows. The Bureau of Budget and Management Research will present the proposed ordinance of estimates for fiscal year 2017 to the Board of Estimates with any amendments or adjustments as needed. The proposed ordinance of estimates will be sent to the City Council for deliberation beginning in May. The City Council will hold hearings with city agencies on the proposed cuts and revenue proposals. The date and time for the City Council's Taxpayers Night and the specific list of hearing dates and times will be announced at an upcoming City Council meeting and posted on the City Council's website at www.baltimorecity.council.com. And at this time, I would like to ask if any members of the board have any questions or comments. If not, I would like to thank you for coming out this evening. And if you would like to, the boards are still up in the back, and the finance department will be back to engage you in any conversation that you would like to have about any of the items that's in the back. Again, thank you and good night.